All right. Hey, everyone. It is Michael Scott, Paper Company, Week 12 update. We're going to Week 13, and we got a lot of things happening, a lot of good matchups. It's going to come down the wire. This is how we set it up, right, Caleb? So let's break down Week 12 real quickly. In my matchup against Isaac, not looking good for Isaac. I mean, you could get some subs coming in if the game doesn't happen tomorrow night. I've got this one on lock. Sorry, Isaac. You'll drop to 5-7. I'll go to 6-6. Caleb, Dylan, any thoughts on this matchup?
Major upsets in Kyler Murray's offense. That kind of carries them. So without him, I don't think Scranton Paper Products has a chance to do anything ever. You had a bad week with your Raiders offense, though. I felt part of that with Nelson Aguilar, and so I think the Raiders offense just – for some reason, the Falcons, when they fired their head coach, they've turned their defensive rating up plus 8 points. So they've been playing a lot better, and I just think the Raiders down the stretch are struggling like they did last year, where they went 1-5 in their last 6 games, and then also on top of that, you look at the Falcons just coming up hot.
Yeah, Matt Ryan's not doing much at all, and that's been a major disappointment at least the last 3 weeks. Caleb, any thoughts on this matchup?
That was the first playoff matchup of the year. That was exciting. Oh, Isaac, 56 points. He's got Juju in it. Oh, brother. Yeah, sorry. Right. At least he's one of the smarter ones. I'll do well in the ACT.
There you go. Let's talk about Uncle Rico's squad against Tyreek Hill. That's right. That's pretty much who it was. Dylan now setting a league record of 210 points. Jake at 105. He still has a quarterback that may or may not play. We'll see what happens before tomorrow's game. Dylan, you shocked everybody by the Kansas City offense. Did you even imagine that Tyreek Hill would put up 57 points?
So this is literally my thought process. In the Thursday Thanksgiving games, Will Fuller put up 35, and I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh. Duke Johnson put up 17. And I'm sitting there going, wow, this isn't getting great. And then he still has Dalton Schultz to play. He still has Marvin Jones to play. And I have Antonio Gibson left. Then Antonio Gibson one-ups Will Fuller. And I'm like, okay, well, this is my top score of the week. Sweet. And then I go into last night's game. I'm like, oh, Tyreek will put up like 25. Travis Kelce will put up 25. Then Tyreek has 40 at the end of the first quarter. And I'm like, never mind. I have a chance to win a lot of rewards here. And so it was a lot more – the craziest part I thought about the whole thing was that my entire bench outscored my flex player. And I was just sitting there going, if only I had started him, but it didn't matter in the end, so I was okay with the win.
So, Caleb, I've got to poke a little fun again. A couple of weeks ago, we had almost a deal with Tyler Lockett for Tyreek Hill that kind of fell through, even though, we got two different sides of the stories. We don't need to rehash it. But, Caleb, Tyreek could have been yours. I mean, you look at this matchup. You look at what he did. Is Dylan's a team to be – do you fear Dylan's team? If you had a matchup with him in the playoffs – how good do you think of your odds of beating him?
I fear everybody's team. My team's terrible. I messed up completely. I fear Trevor. I fear Matt. I fear Isaac. I fear Jake. I fear Dylan. I feel Baby Daddies. I feel Connor. I feel Mason. And I fear Bryce. Does that answer your question, Matt?
It does.
My fantasy app 30 seconds earlier, I would have Tyreek Hill, and I wouldn't have traded Derrick Henry like an idiot and had to worry about Joe Mixon's IR and Joe Burrow's IR and everybody's IR. And I just don't like the ACT.
I just asked my team to show for me this week that I didn't need Dalvin Cook that much, and I wanted to prove it, and I proved it.
There you go. Well, you mentioned Connor and you mentioned everybody, but Connor's team right now at this moment going to need a little help to get over against CBD. This matchup it does favor Connor. He could go to 9-3. CBD would drop to 6-6. You've given Connor a lot of crap and a lot of flack all year, Caleb, but he's about to be 9-3, tied for the lead in the league, still with Dylan. So, Caleb, do you want to make up with Connor? Do you want to say any good words of advice? What do you want to say to Connor right now? Floor is yours.
Just you're welcome. He's only good because I gave him all my players. That's all I got. I'm just alone.
I picked Connor McClain as a second half favorite, which I hate because it keeps him in the running for that 1 seed instead of me. But honestly, I don't think it would matter. I think the 2 seed might even be better here because of the playoff opportunities of the people I'm going to be facing. So It just depends on who mixes up in that mix. But Connor looks to win. But we have to remember, if it's DK's game, Tyler Lockett might not score anything. If it's Tyler Lockett's game, it won't matter anyways. But then last time the Steelers played Baltimore as well for Deontay Johnson, we had a turnout where Deontay Johnson and where Big Ben scored 15 points and it held their team to a lower amount of points. He has Tyler Boyd in there as that sub, so 4.5 points. If they don't play out of that, that means Tyler Lockett basically has to score 4. Honestly, it's an easy win for Connor, but there's a possibility still. It's up in the air.
Okay, so Dylan, what's the path moving forward for CBD? A team that started great, had a big slide, was trying to rebound, and is now taking a loss to fall to 6-6. What does it look like for them moving forward?
I like their team. I really do. It's just they've had their positions. They put in the wrong guys a lot. A lot of different things happen. Thielen's out this week. They tried to trade for Taysom Hill to see what would happen, and that just didn't work out very well. And then you look at people like Robbie Anderson, didn't play in this week over Michael Thomas. Robbie Anderson's been a pretty good player. Justin Jefferson, great player. Austin Eckler came back this week. That's great, but every single flex player outscored both his starting wide receivers. And Kareem Hunt just didn't show up this week against Jacksonville because Baker Mayfield decided to throw the ball for once. And so it was a tough game. But I think he can find a way to the playoffs winning next week, and I think he can.
All right, so the next matchup is Bryce and Mason. Bryce finishing 108 points. Mason at 98. He still has Miles Sanders. Needs 10.5, and it's a victory for Mace. Okay, so Mason could go 4-8. Bryce could fall to 6-6, joining potentially could be 4 people. We'll talk about that in a second. So Caleb, if you're Bryce, Mason's trying to play spoiler. Mason has nothing invested in this game, but he can play spoiler. If you're Bryce and you take a loss to Mason, how concerned are you now going into a Week 13 matchup when your season's on the line?
I mean, you got to be pretty concerned, don't you? Because you'll be 6-6, and if you lose, you're pretty much out. Yeah, so if he wins this one, he's in. Loses it, he's probably out. Because myself and you have more points than he does. Oh, only 3. Never mind. So it could be you. You could be out if Bryce loses. Well, that's all. I'm not very entertaining today. What can I say?
Well, okay, let's take a look. So you're also in this, Caleb. I mean, right now you are beating Trevor, and this is the game to watch tonight. Trevor could get his second win on the season. And Caleb, you win, you don't have to worry really that much about Week 13. You could try to end some seasons, and I mean, you're going to be fine. If Trevor comes and beats you, next week's big for you. Dylan, can Trevor get his second win on the season with the guys he's got left, and how concerned should Caleb be if he takes a loss?
Trevor can very easily. Like we said earlier, it's either DK's or Tyler Lockett's games at this point. Russell Wilson's going to be throwing all touchdown passes anyways. So if either of them have a big game, Russell Wilson's going to feel good. Chris Carson is back and healthy this week, I do believe. Is that correct?
He will be playing.
I think he's got a high fantasy floor. So even if he doesn't do great, he's going to get that 10 points you need, really. Chase Claypool doesn't play. He's already got his – what does he have? 0 points from Darius Slayton there, but that's okay. The Arizona defense got 10 points instead of the Ravens. So, I mean, it just depends at this point. I think Trevor pulls this one out because I just don't see his guys pulling together a bigger win than him. But it's going to be tough.
Okay, so Dylan, do you want to break down some power rankings or what else do you have to share before we talk about Week 13?
I mean, the only big thing is I think the Jets have a really good shot of winning the first round of the playoffs in the bottom bracket. So I think the Jets have a good chance of avoiding the ACT. I think they're one of the locks on that. The other one, it's going to be up in the air between Trevor. It looks like SPP, who has a slim chance to make the playoffs still, but it's very unlikely. If they would, that's with the loss this week. So I just think at this point, other than that, I don't want to lose next week because I solidify my spot of a win. And so that's power rankings. Will be 1 going into the playoffs or 2 going to the playoffs for me, 1 or 2 going into the playoffs for Connor McClain. Then Uncle Rico is kind of that weird spot in there where I don't know if he's actually should be a 3 seed or if he's actually feeling like a 6 seed right now. He's going to be a 3 seed, but you never know.
All right, so let's talk quickly about Week 13, and let's just go through really the 2 games. And I don't want to say they don't matter. Every game does matter in terms of maybe a seeding or maybe there's a shot at the 1 or 2 seed. But for the teams that are locks, let's talk about a couple of them real quick. Let's talk Connor and Mason first. If Mason does get the win, goes to 4-8. If Connor wins, he goes to 9-3. Connor is trying to fight with you, Dylan, for that 1 seed. Who do you like in this matchup? Does Mason have enough to take down Connor? Is this a closer matchup? Dylan, we'll start with you, then Caleb. Love to hear your thoughts.
I picked the Jets to win out in the second half of the season. They didn't do all that. They've done pretty well, though, for themselves. They have really good matchups this week. They do. The only issue now is that for some reason, Caleb Boydson has stacked Connor McLean's team.
Yeah, I did.
So Derrick Henry's playing a tougher matchup against the Browns. They're the only tough matchup left on Derrick Henry's schedule. But, I mean, you look around at the team. They've got some decent matchups. Not the best, but I want to see the Jets here win. This one's going to be a close game matchup. Honestly, it's not really pushing anything crazy, but I'm going to take the Jets here because they have just better matchups all around.
Caleb, what about you?
I'll take Connor McLean because he has all my players and he's good.
There you go. It's Caleb's second team. That's who he's cheering for. All right, let's talk about Scranton Paper Products. They're going to drop to 5-7. Uncle Rico going to be 7-5. And honestly, this game in a way very much could matter because maybe the Jets could maybe move up a spot in the bottom bracket. With Isaac, it doesn't really do much. But if you're looking at your seeding number, I don't know. Jake's team's spiraling out of control. With Drew Brees, with the injuries, his team's he's in a bad spot right now. Does Isaac finish the regular season on a win, or do you think Jake can hold off Isaac?
I really think Rico pulls this one off pretty handedly. It's going to be tough, though, actually, because he's playing a lot of defenses. But the main things for him is if Alvin Kamara can play, because if he can't, if Alvin Kamara's not going to put up his points, he's going to have a bad week. The rest of his matchups are hard. Both these teams are facing hard defenses this week. The funny thing about it is all these name brand players, when they face hard defenses or have some injuries, they're done for. And all these under guys like Wayne Gallman, they're just coming out and performing pretty well. So I honestly like Rico to win here, but I don't think either of these teams have a great shot of even putting up massive performances. So with that, I think Scranton is out of the playoffs on this week, and I think Uncle Rico, if he somehow pulls off a loss here, then he could drop down technically 1 spot or 2 spots with to the people below him if they get a win.
Well, it sounded like George kind of disagreed with your commentary right there. I heard him in the background, and maybe he's pulling for Isaac. Caleb.
Pulling for Isaac. Come on, Isaac, win.
There you go, pulling for Isaac. All right, so we got Dylan, you, and Bryce. Let's talk about your matchup. You'll be 9-3. Bryce potentially being 6-6. Dylan, you're going for the 1 seed. I know you're pulling for yourself. You've got what I say is probably one of the most dangerous teams right now. How are you feeling against Bryce? And I know we were talking earlier before this video that maybe kind of tougher matchups for you in some areas.
Yeah, I've got a tough week this week. Justin Herbert struggled last week, and he's playing a New England defense that feels revitalized. Some of my top guys are playing harder defenses where they didn't go great in the past or they struggled a little bit. Bryce's team also has some – I feel like everyone this week has a tough matchup for some reason. I don't know why. It just feels like it. But Bryce's team really needs some big playmakers in Devontae Adams. He needs someone to break out in that running back core he has. Raheem Mostert coming back could really help him out. I picked against myself 2 weeks in a row. I'm going to do it again. But I'm going to hope for the best just because it's worked out so far this year.
Well, Dylan, I need you to win, so go ahead and get that win for me.
I was just going to ask Caleb, are you pulling for Dylan in this one? But that's a good answer.
Well, for him now, so I can beat him in the playoffs. That's my fun, exciting. DK's got to go. DK's got to have a lot of Tyreek Hill games for me to win.
There you go. Well, let's talk about our matchup then. Caleb, both of our teams, I'll be 6-6. You could be 6-6, maybe 7-5, depending on what happens. If it is 6-6 matchup, it's a win and you're in between our game. This is going to be the big game right here.
Yeah.
So Caleb, we both our teams have underperformed or maybe underperformed in a while in some areas. How confident, Caleb, are you in this matchup next week?
50% confident. Is that an equal answer? I don't think anybody cares about our matchup. Okay,
this is the matchup of the week. You're both 6-6.
Yeah, I know.
This is the most playoff impacting game of the week.
Of course, and Matt has his kicker going on Monday night. Matt, put Greg Zuerlein in. Now he plays on Monday too. Never mind.
Well, Mike Evans is out for Matt this week.
Yeah, Tampa Bay, I will not have. I'm going to have to be creative in my flex spot, and if Josh Jacobs does miss out, I'm going to need a running back, or at least maybe put Gus Edwards in. I don't know. I'm going to have to be creative. I'm not full strength either.
But Darren Waller will be back against the Jets, hands down. Sean Watson's playing the Colts. The Colts are a hell of a team right now on defense. Not much offense.
Give up 50 points last week.
No. But I mean, like, there's in fantasy wise, and Deshaun Watson isn't great against good fantasy defenses this year. I mean, that's how it worked. He started out slow. He got a little bit better. Went down a little bit. Giovanni Bernard just can't play worth shit, especially against the Miami Dolphins. That their defense is playing pretty well. Zeke's playing well.
Giovanni Bernard, I guess.
I think we'll see. Looking at Caleb's matchups, I think Deshaun Watson will still do well. I don't know if he'll put up 30 points, but I still expect him the 25 range, even against the Colts. The big question will be, looking at that team, you're right. What will Giovanni Bernard do? What will Zeke do? He is going against Baltimore. Will we see a shift? Will we see Tony Pollard? Will we see Zeke? What will Zeke do? He had 2 points on Thanksgiving. So that's the big question. For me, will I have Josh Jacobs? Will I even have a starting running back besides James Robinson? I may need Robinson to put up 30 again just to keep me in this. So that's going to be a good matchup. Let's finish out with this last matchup. Trevor and Connor and Braden. Again, Trevor could play spoiler. He could try to take out CBD. He could take them out of the playoffs potentially with a win. So that gives Trevor something fun to look forward to. And a win would be good for him as well. Dylan. Yes. Trevor's team's picked up a little bit. Does he end the regular season with maybe a win this week and a win next week?
I like them. This is the thing again. I can't tell as well in week 13. Week 13 has a ton of tough matchups fantasy based. I like CBD to win this week. I really do. But you look at Russell Wilson playing the Giants. The Giants have been not horrible of late. They're not scoring many points, but they're not allowing many points. Chris Carson's back, hopefully. Kenyon Drake's back, but he's playing the Rams rushing defense. Claypool's playing the Redskins. Okay, the football team. Cole Beasley's playing the 49ers, who had a better team this week. They're all tough matchups. You look at the other side. Mahomes is playing Denver. Last time their defense handled it. And honestly, their defense is probably going to handle it this next time too, because you looked at their team this week. They had no quarterback, but it's the Denver Broncos at this point. Aaron Jones, Kareem Hunt, I just don't know. CBD's my pick here, but I don't know.
Caleb?
Give me CBD. No, who are they playing?
Well, okay. I mean, do you want CBD to win? Because if you lose, not looking good for you.
Yeah, let's go CBD or whoever's playing CBD. Let's go Trevor, baby.
Trevor.
Get a win. Okay. They got a shot. He's got a shot, maybe. I guess. No, probably not. All right, Matt, take it away. You're the entertaining voice.
All right, so week 13, there will be no Thursday night football thanks to COVID and the Ravens and the whole mess that this last week was. So we'll Sunday comes down to Sunday and 2 Monday night games. Monday afternoon, Ravens in Dallas, and then Buffalo, San Fran Monday night, and then we'll see who's making the playoffs. So good luck as always, fellas. We'll get ready for who's making the playoffs. We'll get ready to see what happens, but good analysis as always. Good luck, everybody.